Dana, what fighters are on your top 5 all-time UFC list? Jon Jones, Jon Jones, Jon Jones, Jon Jones, Jon Jones.
Will we ever see Jon Jones versus Alex Pereira?
Possibility. I mean, Rogan is pushing me right now to try to make that fight. It's just, guys, let me explain something to you. Jon Jones is a whole nother. Jon Jones is, I consider Jon Jones the greatest combat fighter of all time. Jon Jones is the nastiest dude ever.
What do you mean by that?
In the history. And I always say this about Jon's got a dark side to him, man. Jon's got like those dogs that'll rip your arms apart and do all that. He shoots guns. Jon Jones is a killer.
Joe Rogan, you just said always kind of hit you up about the Jon Jones Pereira fight. Is that going to happen or what?
No.
Okay.
That was easy. That was quick.
Have you seen the internet reaction to the obviously pound for pound conversation in you and Jon Jones? And once again, as a friend of the Jones family, I agree with everything you said. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, everybody on the internet's stupid. So anybody who thinks Jon Jones isn't the pound for pound best fighter in the world should never be discussing fighting ever. Period. End of story.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you regret how things played out with Francis? Are you disappointed with how that played out, Dana?
No, because we did everything in our power to try to make that Jon Jones fight, and it is what it is.
Do you believe Jon Jones was afraid of Francis?
Not only is Jon Jones not afraid of Francis, Jon Jones is the baddest fighter to ever live in any combat sport. If you look at Jon Jones is undefeated in the UFC. He's got one loss on his record. He lost to Steve Mazzagatti. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
He's the worst referee to ever fucking ref any fight, never lost, and he went through murderer's row.
Yeah.
Then he goes out for 3 years, comes back, and beats Cyril Gane. Like that. Easily. In my opinion, he does the same thing to Francis.
What?
100%. Does the same thing to Francis. Francis didn't want to fight Jon Jones. There's nothing for him to prove now. He already moved up to heavyweight and walked through
Cyril Gane. I mean,
Francis Ngannou barely made it through Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
If Cyril Gane doesn't go for that submission,
right,
Cyril Gane wins that fight. Mm-hmm. Jon Jones walked through him.
Jon Jones is ranked number 3 pound for pound in the world. Most fucking ridiculous, embarrassing, stupid, know nothing about fucking fighting ranking of all fucking time. Jon Jones is still an active fighter. He beat Cyril Gane. He's gonna fight again in November. Jon Jones is the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world, period, end of story. Whether you want to call Islam, Pereira, number 2, number 3, all good. To have anybody above Jon Jones right now just goes to show that you know absolutely fucking nothing about combat sports and fighting. The other thing about Jon Jones, when you talk about inactivity, any fighter in the history of fighting, including Muhammad Ali, was never the same again after his 3-year layoff. And Muhammad Ali wasn't doing bad things to himself like Jon Jones was. And Jon Jones comes back and looks even better. It's undebatable. It's undebatable. Anybody who even tries to debate this with me, you're just hating on Jon Jones and you don't like him as a person.
But don't you think, like, when you look at it, you go, Alex was 230 today. I saw his thing on the scale. He was 230. If he puts on 15 pounds, he's the same weight as Jon. And you're talking about perhaps the greatest single accomplishment in combat sports history, right? You know, doing what Alex would do if he does that. And you normally embrace those kind of big historic things, and this one you don't seem to have that same fervor for.
Not true. If he cleaned out a division and we were like, there's literally nobody left for this guy to fight, and he's 37. If he wants to move up to heavyweight, that's not the case. And when you think about, you said he was 230 today, right? Chuck and Forrest Griffin used to walk around at 230, and they would cut down to 205. That's not big. Some of these heavyweights are, 265. They're cutting to 265. It's just a whole nother level. I mean, that's why I think this is the problem with the conversation that we're having here and why people aren't giving Jon Jones the respect for pound. This fucking guy destroyed the best heavyweight in the division. Easily made it look like nothing. Jon Jones is the pound for pound best fighter in the world and the greatest fighter fucking ever. Period. End of story.
Well, I don't disagree with that, but he hasn't fought in a long time. But in Stipe or in a longer time,
he got hurt.
No, I get it. I'm not criticizing.
He was trying to fight.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Well, it's not like he's just fucking sitting around and doesn't want to fight. The guy came to fight. It's the first injury he's ever had. And listen to me. I'm not defending Jon Jones. Huh? You know what I mean? Jon Jones has been one of my biggest fucking headaches in the entire time that I've been in this company, right? And, the guy hasn't been the model, fighter in the company. No matter what you think of Jon Jones, He's the fucking best ever, and
I
he's the
think he's
pound
the
for pound
best
best
ever. I
fighter in the
agree.
world.
I
And he's the
agree.
pound for pound best fighter in the world.
Yeah. Well, except that he hasn't fought in the last year, so he's not.
Because he got hurt. He got injured.
But if you don't,
If you were coming into a fight and you fucking got hurt, that means you're not the pound for pound best fighter in the world anymore? How does that even make sense?
When
It
he
doesn't
fights,
make sense.
when he fights,
right?
he'll be the
If he was sitting out and fucking getting arrested and running around or whatever, and you're like, well, Jon Jones is inactive, I'd say, maybe you're right. But as an educated adult who knows the fight business, you cannot deny that while Jon Jones is active, he is the greatest fighter in the world.
did I not say that?
Yes. I don't know what you're arguing about here. I don't even know how we're in this conversation. Where are the helicopters when you need them?
Because you're screaming and hollering. Well, let's change to a better topic then. I was outside talking to